What's up, team? It's PvP, and today I've got a quick one for you. We're talking a little healer theory for the Prophet Skeram and AQ40, specifically from the perspective of a Holy Paladin. Now, quick disclaimer before we dive in here, there are plenty of strategies that work for this fight, and I'm not claiming to be the end-all be-all Holy Pally resource. At the end of the day, do what works best for you and your guild. If the boss dies, that's a win. So, Skeram. He's the first boss in AQ40, and you gotta get through him to unlock the rest of the raid. In my guild, we usually finish this fight in about 3 minutes on a really smooth run, closer to 2, maybe less if we're really feeling ourselves. With a fight that short, mana usually isn't an issue, but if your guild is taking longer, or if you're running light on healers in this particular instance, be sure to bring some consumables. In this particular run, we had 10 healers, 5 pallies, 4 priests, and a druid. Basically what I'm saying is I did not have to work very hard in this run, at least on this fight. We also had 1 druid tank, 3 warrior tanks, and 7 warriors total. Let's talk gear. We've got the Creeping Vine Helm out of AQ40, Amulet of Shifting Sands out of AQ20, it's a quest reward. We've got the Animus Spalders out of ZG, Hide of the Wild with the 5 resistances, it's a crafting back. The Robes of the Exalted with stats +4 to everything. Loomguard Arm Braces out of Skullomance, Jindu's Hexer out of ZG, Lay of the Life Giver, which is out of Altaric Valley, Libram of Divinity out of Skullomance, Shard of the Scale from Oni, Zandalarian Hero Charm out of ZG. We've got the Primalist Band in Seal set out of ZG, the Magma Tempered Boots out of MC, Empowered Leggings out of BWL with the ZG enchant, the Corehound Belt, which is another crafted item, and the Peacekeeper Gauntlets off Hakar out of ZG. You can go ahead and pause this section if you want to save this list. I think it's a pretty good foundational list of the items and buffs and consumables that you're going to want to bring for not just this fight, but for the entirety of AQ40. When it comes to world buffs and consumables, they're not going to be strictly necessary for this fight, but it's going to help smooth things out if you need it. With a short kill time, you don't need to be fully stacked, but if your guild is pushing progression and maybe this is your first time in here, or maybe you just want a safer run in general, it's going to be worth bringing all of these things, the basics. Your Flask of Distilled Wisdom, your mana and health potions, your runes, all your consumables from cooking. They do go a long way, especially if you have a full raid group, so all those bonuses times 40 people, it will help you kill things faster. As far as raid buffs, whatever you have time for, there's a lot more that I don't have listed here, but I do think the Zandalar and the Oni head, those are pretty standard, basic, easy to collect, and there's not much excuse in my opinion to not at least bring those two when you come. Overall, I wouldn't feel the need to blow everything on Skeram specifically, but going in with at least some consumables, make sure you don't run dry if the fight drags on, or if you guys don't have as many healers as you had planned for. Last note here, there are lesser versions and variations of these consumables, or at least most of them. You can buy cheaper on the auction house, like a nature protection potion versus a greater nature protection potion. So keep that in mind. If you're low on cash, you can buy less powerful but similar versions of the higher end consumables. As a Holy Paladin in this guild, my assignment is pretty simple. Keep the tanks alive. That's my main focus. I'm going to throw heals on warriors or other healers if needed, but the tanks are my #1 priority. Paladin raid healing right now isn't great in this phase of the game. Flash of Light is quick and handy for spot heals, but it's not something that I lean on for raid-wide coverage. Healing is obviously going to be your #1 priority, but you do have other tools in the toolkit that can assist in this particular fight. One mechanic that does matter here is the mind control. If I'm nearby and a player isn't CC'd, I can toss out a Hodge or a Bop, but that's not a top priority unless the raid leader specifically calls for it. If an MC player comes after me, I can always bubble out. I'd rather save bubbles for the arcane explosions here. Those hurt and they hit a whole lot of people if you're in range, so surviving those is a lot more important. Positioning wise, the standard approach from what I can find in all the videos that I've watched on this fight for healers and ranged is to stay on that top platform behind the boss. That's going to keep you at a safer range for the arcane explosions and MCs. Personally though, I like being on the lower platforms where I can follow my main tank around, my main tank assignments. The line of sight can be frustrating in this fight, and I'd rather stay in a spot where I know I always have vision on my tank. It's not the official strategy, it's probably not even the most efficient for healing numbers, but it does work for me and my guild, and as long as the tank is alive, I've done my job. Now during the fight itself, my rotation is pretty straightforward. I keep my eyes on the main tank. Flash of Light is your best friend. Whether he's close to full health or not, overhealing is not a big concern of mine here. The fight is short. I'm not running out of mana. I have consumables if I need it, but we also have 10 healers in this instance. It's just not going to happen. And I'd much rather overheal by 20, 30, 40k than risk losing the tanks, risk losing the warriors. I'm going to rotate my heals onto the main tanks, onto the off tanks, onto the warriors or other healers as needed, but as long as those people are alive, my tanks, my healers, myself, the boss is going to go down. In my opinion, this fight is a lot more about control and mechanics than raw DPS. The raid is going to have to deal with the clones, you're going to have to handle the MCs, and survive the arcane explosions. For me as a Holy Paladin, the checklist is very simple. Stay alive, keep tanks and healers alive, spot heal when I can, and always keep my assignments in the line of sight. And that's pretty much it. Once everyone knows their role, has their assignments, this fight is going to be on automatic for your team. It's fast, it's clean, it's consistent. For us as Holy Paladins, it just comes down to paying attention to line of sight, keeping your tanks and warriors alive, keeping your healers alive, and you guys should be downing this with no problem. It's kind of a cool little raid check, make sure everyone is locked in and paying attention. This fight is not particularly hard, and it's a nice way to get warmed up for the rest of the raid. And that is it for this video, guys. My name is PvP, and you can find me at PvP on all things socials. I appreciate your time and hanging out with me. If you guys like content like this or want to see more videos from my channel, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a sub. This is the easiest and freest way to support the channel. Be sure to check out the Midnight Release podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace.